So you know what, guys? Valentine's Day is just around the corner. And I say guys, and Dr. Wright may jump all over me on this because I oftentimes call Valentine's Day Men's Penance Day for the year. And I say it with tongue in cheek, but I believe that every day is Valentine's Day for my wife, Debbie. And so I don't want you to get caught this time next week saying, oh, my gosh, I forgot it. It's next Saturday. And you don't want to be getting caught. So you want to know what the right gift is, what the do's and don'ts are. As guys, and I've said this many times, and this is the Gary Sutton Show, by the way, hour number 2. I've said it many times that a lot of us are just big, dumb animals. I mean, we really don't know that much. We're kind of like just past the Neanderthal stage, crept into the Cro-Magnon part, and we don't quite think about it. Now, some of you who do, don't take this the wrong way, because some of us out there do. But there are a few people in this world that drag it down for the rest of us, right? So what do you do? What are the do's and don'ts? Well, Dr. Judith Wright is a relationships and lifestyles expert. She's a sought-after speaker. She's a respected leader, best-selling author, world-class coach and corporate consultant. She's a professor of transformational coaching at the Wright Graduate University for the Realization of Human Potential and president of the Wright Foundation for the Realization of Human Potential. She also has been on, she's the author of Transformed, The Science of Spectacular Living. She's been on 2020, Oprah, Good Morning America, The Today Show, and many more. And she's with us this morning, Dr. Judith Wright. Good morning, Dr. Wright. How are you?
Good morning. Great. Thank you.
It is great to have you on. I said you probably will verbally slap me for saying that. But every year I go through my rant regarding this being Male Penance Day. I often say that the pressure is on men, not on women, on Valentine's Day coming up. Would you disagree with me?
Well, not necessarily. Actually, I think the pressure is on both. I think the pressure is on women to really let their men know what it is they want, what matters to them. I mean, and I kind of agree with you. Putting all the pressure on Valentine's Day is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If that one day is supposed to symbolize the love and attention you get, and that's the big test of your relationship, then there's something wrong with your relationship.
I was talking one year, and I put out I said, I'm blaming somebody for this, that we have to have this day. I said, because I give my wife notes and flowers during the course of the year and cards and things like that, and I buy her things just because I feel like it, because, I really love her. And yet I said there are people that go out and they snatch up the first plastic bouquet they can find in the 5 and 10 cent store, now the 25 and 50 cent store, and they grab the first card they see that's usually in plastic and probably has a stain on it, coffee stain on it somewhere. And some guy called the one day and he said, "That's me. I'm horrible, aren't I?" I said, "Yeah, you're the reason for all this happening." So you get my point. It's just, but Valentine's Day to me is every day. I mean, really, I don't mean to sound corny, but so tell us a little bit about some of the do's and don'ts this morning, because we're trying to help both guys and ladies to communicate, and that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
No, it really is that. And, the real point is, if you look underneath all what Valentine's means to women oftentimes, and what we talk about is we have these deeper yearnings, which are different than the kind of our surface wants. I mean, we yearn to be loved. We yearn to matter, to be seen, to be known, to be heard, to be special, to be affirmed. And that's actually true for men and women. And that's what really matters. And somehow we get it all balled up in one day, and then it's a big test to, does he love me enough? Do I matter enough? But really the point is to be working on those things every single day of our lives. And if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day as an extra special kind of thing, that's lovely. That's beautiful. But to substitute for the emptiness and the distance you have all the rest of the days, that's not great. We really need to have, what you're talking about is great, to really have that much affirmation and attention in a relationship all the time. It's interesting, Gary, the studies show that flourishing couples have at least 5 positives to every negative thing in their relationship. And the really flourishing ones have 20 positives to every negative. It's not to avoid the negatives, but to do what you're talking about, to have that affirmation, the appreciation, really as a baseline in your relationship.
It's really been interesting. I've been with my wife now for 14 years, and we have never had an argument. Now, I've heard different relationship people say, "Oh, man, you're in trouble when the first argument comes." We have quiet moments where we think things out, and then we come back with projected solutions. But we both are in a second marriage, and I think we both have learned that you can't love someone without respecting them. And the idea of disrespecting my wife by arguing with her in a negative way is totally not even on the radar right now. And it's the same for her, too, because we've talked about it a lot. So when you say about love, I mean, a lot of people say, well, we argue like cats and dogs all the time, but we never go to bed mad. Those kind of things.
Right.
What do you say to people that have never had an argument like me? Is it a warning sign, or is that a great thing?
I don't think it's a great thing, Gary, because I think oftentimes if we avoid fighting, we're avoiding some of the intimacy that we could have. I'm not saying you should be irresponsible and have toxic dumps on one another or whatever, but fighting and letting yourself have your feelings, being angry about something, being scared, being hurt, letting each other know that. Oftentimes, what couples who really learn how to fight responsibly, they get it all out on the table. They might yell, they might name call, but they clean it up. They take responsibility. But what happens is they actually feel closer afterwards. They find solutions to things that they wouldn't have found had they not gone into that territory. So relationships just aren't that fragile. You really can work this stuff out and feel closer.
Well, I know my wife's at home this morning listening to this probably, and one of the things she said to me in the beginning, I mean, I'm in a business where I pick arguments all the time, for 3 hours every day. So I get a lot of that at work. So I tried to pick an argument with her one time. You know what she said?
What?
It's a waste of my time to argue. I don't argue. So what we have found is something else. We discuss a lot of things, and we talk out things, and we throw out ideas, and I guess that's intimate, that we basically care about certain things, and we accede to each other on certain things, but we never argue.
Well, your styles might work for one another, but I'd also encourage you to share more feelings with one another.
Well, we do. I mean, we really do. I mean, more than you would think. But I'm going home today and pick an argument as soon as we're done with this show. I'm telling you right now. It's interesting. Americans are going to spend $1.7 billion on candy this year for Valentine's Day, $2.1 billion on flowers, $4.8 billion on jewelry. Been there, done that, and all that. Taking my wife to St. Michael's down in Maryland this year for a weekend. But is it all about the stuff, or is there something more to it that women want? I know you sent me a list of questions which I think are great. And one of the things you said, what is the gift that women hate but they won't tell you that they hate it?
Well, the gifts that show that you don't know them, the generic gifts, thoughtless gifts, like you described at the beginning of the interview with those plastic-covered cards with the coffee stains and, whatever. But gifts that say, wait, who is this for? This isn't even me. It has nothing to do with who I am, so that they don't feel seen or cared about. It's more the thoughtless, generic stuff, and that could be anything. But
like the group memo Dear Occupant gift,
Right.
It's like resident mail, Oh, by the way, it's Valentine's Day here.
Yeah. That kind of thoughtlessness is the kind of thing that they hate. They're oftentimes much more gracious if you've been thoughtful. Maybe it's a little bit off the mark or whatever, but if they know that you care and you spent time and there's something kind of tender about that, it's more the thoughtless disregard and not knowing them that they really hate.
Now, so you don't think I'm a big dumb lug? One of the things that we've done in the past is we've written Valentines to each other. We've made our own Valentines where we've written a letter and a thought. And we exchanged those and we talked about them, and that was something that was really cool. Are supermarket flowers a crappy gift? Is that I forgot to buy something gift and I happen to stop at the Weiss Market on the way home to the Giant and grab something because I know if I don't get that, I'm going to look like a real heel type of gift?
Yep, absolutely. Totally. I mean, like you might as well just put a sign, hey, I forgot, and I gave you this crappy thing.
Oh, my. Yeah,
I guess you could present it with a sense of humor and some chagrin and a promise for a do-over or something. I mean, if you have enough charm, you can maybe just really tell the truth. Like, look, I'm so sorry. I really did forget. You are special to me, and I'd like to make it up to you. Let's go out tomorrow or something. But right now, I've got this goofy thing I'm giving you. I mean, you could present it maybe, but mostly it's just, I forgot.
We're talking with Dr. Judith Wright, who has written a book out there, Transform the Science of Spectacular Living. How do we live spectacularly? By the way, I really was stuck on the title, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm going to. How do we live spectacularly as husband and wife and as couples and people in this country?
It's really interesting. We actually did research on this to really find out who are these people that are really flourishing in their lives and in their relationships. And we found that there's like 6 big deal things that they do. But one of them we've actually kind of talked about is that they guide themselves by their yearnings, those deeper yearnings that really matter to all of us, that to love and be loved and to matter and to make a difference, to be seen and heard and known. And those things are so critical. And if we can guide our lives by that and even guide our relationships and remember that that's what what's really going on every time we're upset or our feelings are hurt or we're dissatisfied. There's a deeper yearning that's not getting met. And if we can engage, which is another one of those of the six,
right.
We can engage fully and really tell the truth and take risk and really get that stuff out. That makes a huge difference. Most of us kind of wait for life to happen to us or that somebody else will fix it for us or whatever, and we don't take charge of our lives or our relationships. But when we do, we can have a really different, much more satisfying, nourishing, fulfilling life and relationships.
As a general subject, what are the biggest faux pas that men and women commit toward each other? What are the biggest problems that they have? I mean, I hear people say, "Oh, it's about money," but I'm saying, what are the things that we don't do that we should be doing a lot of times?
Telling the truth.
Okay.
We don't tell the truth. We're too darn careful in our relationships. We don't say directly what we need and what we want or what hurts our feelings or what we prefer. One of the rules we give to couples in our work is that you take 100% responsibility for your satisfaction, and you can only give 50% of the blame in your relationship and your fight. But if I'm responsible for my happiness, I'm not going to expect my husband to read my mind, do everything perfectly. I'll let him know what I care about, what I love, what bothers me, what I'd prefer, and he'll do the same with me. And that actually helps you be more satisfied, and it makes you more intimate. You know each other better.
You know, I've heard people do this over the years. My wife doesn't do it to me too often, but every now and then, she's very honest, and so am I with her. But one of the things she'll do is she'll say, how does this look on me?
Yes.
And I go, and I have a way, if I pause, she kind of knows that I think maybe there's a better choice.
Right.
But I don't want to say horrible.
No.
You find some way, well, it's okay. And then she knows that she did that one time with a dress, though. We were going to a very formal function, and she had this dress she tried on. And it was a black dress, and she came out with it and said, "What do you think?" And I went,
Yeah.
She said, "Let me show you what happens when I accessorize it." And, man, she came into the ball that night that we were at, and it was like, holy cow.
Wow.
So, anyway, it was kind of an interesting way of settling out. But, when guys get asked the question, "Honey, do I look fat in this dress?" Oh, compared to what, honey? I mean, seriously. I mean, we all get caught with that. And women set us up a lot. Guys never worry about that too much. But women, man, you set us up with that stuff. That's important not to ask those kind of questions, right?
Well, and chances are she's actually feeling kind of fat in it or feels like she doesn't look as attractive as she'd like to, which is why she's asking and trying to get some reassurance. And, yes, you're right to be sensitive to questions like that. I mean, the answer, does my butt look fat in this, shouldn't be, yes, it does. I mean, it could be, but you can get the point across, like your pause gives her that data. But it could be, I really like that other dress instead. Or, what, I love you in blue. What about that blue dress? Can you try that? I mean, there's ways to actually state your preference.
Bring them down a little slower. Compared to Kim Kardashian, no, you don't look. Your butt doesn't look. No, but whatever. So we go with that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay. Some of the do's and don'ts, and I want to hit you with. Should you send a bouquet to your love's workplace? Why or why not?
Well, again, that depends. So I think the point is, sometimes it's a wonderful thing to do, and it could show that you care and make you kind of special. But the point is, you really should know your love's life enough. Is she the kind of woman that would appreciate that? Does she have the kind of workplace where that's frowned upon, or is that a kind of place where that would be fun for people to be talking about? The point is, you should, at this point, know enough about your love to know if that's something she'd appreciate or not. Another thing you can do, even let's say you don't send them to the workplace and you thought about it, ask her, look, I thought about sending you flowers, but I realize I don't really know if that's something you'd like or not, so that you know for the future, for her birthday, or for just cause sometime in the future.
Okay, now when we come back, are women always dropping hints about Valentine's Day? I'm going to ask you that question.
Okay.
Dr. Judith Wright with us here at the Gary Sutton Show, trying to straighten us out here on WSBA. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. We're with Dr. Judith Wright, who has written a book. She's the author of Transform, the Science of Spectacular Living. She's been on all kinds of programs, 2020, Oprah, Good Morning America, Today's Show. Finally, she has made it to the Gary Sutton Show, so I know she's reached the zenith of her career here this morning. I'm sure you feel that way, right?
Well, I love being with you, Gary, so that's what counts.
I'm having a great time. I hope I'm not too flippant. But
no, it's great.
The one gift my wife and I have given each other this year is really the loss of weight. What I was saying a minute ago is really true. And we both are enjoying our lives a lot better. So it's one of those things that, strange gift. I would have never thought about it this time last year, but this year it works out.
Well,
Anyway.
It really is. It says that you care and you care about each other. You're going to be there for each other, hopefully longer time, that you care about yourself and you're self-respecting. It is a beautiful gift. I think that's great.
Are women always dropping hints about Valentine's Day? The one thing I found out, being a poor dumb animal for a long time, is that women have an entire another language that they talk, and you're supposed to understand it, even though you never got the primer to read. And I don't care who the woman is, they all do it. Now, my wife is pretty straightforward, but, every now and then I kind of look at her like, are you like all other women? Are you saying something to me other than what you're really saying to me? So are women always dropping hints about Valentine's Day?
Well, if they are, they should stop being so coy and be straight about it. This is what I want. This is what I appreciate. These are the kinds of things I like, and really let your guy know you and what matters to you. I think men think they're dropping hints, and you're right, there's a language issue. Like if a woman says, wow, look at that in the window. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I love that color. Oh, look at her. Doesn't she look great in that scarf? I'd like that. Or something. They're saying something, and you just think they're just having conversation, but they're actually telling you what it is that they want. You might be reading a newspaper, and they point to something. Wow, aren't those cute shoes? They're not just saying, aren't those cute shoes? So I guess to a guy that could seem like a dropping a hint that you're not even aware of. But at the same time, if you're really listening to one another and noticing each other's preferences and what makes their eyes light up, both for men and women, then you can find ways to buy something that shares your love and shows that you listen to them and that you know them. And it's vulnerable. I think the other thing is just vulnerable to buy gifts. The more we can help each other with this, the better. It's really risky.
Well, one of the things as I'm listening to you talk, Dr. Wright, is the idea that we should listen and also hear what's being said. And maybe that's a way we can pick up the clues a little bit better, because sometimes we listen or reading the paper or we're doing something or watching the ball game or, and your wife comes in and says something to you like, I'm radioactive. And you go, that's great, honey. What are we having for dinner tonight? Just really, you just kind of tune people out, and you can't do that with your other half, I don't believe.
Well, and if you are, tell her, look, I'm kind of tuned out. I'm not that available right now. After the game, I'll come be with you. It's fine to negotiate a little time, but not act like you're there when you're half there. We can sometimes tune out, but being responsible about it is a good thing. But also, just really, I'm just back on that telling the truth thing. What our couples do, we do gift lists. We do and we keep them going the whole time, whether it's the holidays or birthdays or Valentine's Day, and we make lists of the things that we love. But it's fun because we put everything from world peace to a hot air balloon ride to a new pair of shoes to a keychain. It can be the huge stuff, the big stuff, but what it is, it lets you just riff for a while. What do you care about? What do you like? And you learn so much about each other by having these lists. They're so much fun. And sometimes women don't want, if he doesn't know, I shouldn't tell him. If he doesn't know what I like, then he doesn't love me. That is not true. We really need to educate each other, and we need to share with one another. Yeah,
and guys, like I said, we're notorious for we got scrape marks in the back of our knuckles sometimes. We just don't do that well with it. I try to be really sensitive to that, and I know no matter how hard I try, I'm going to miss something. And my wife will never ever tell me too much. One year I missed her birthday. I couldn't believe it. I never missed birthday. Oh my God. We're sitting at dinner at her parents' house, and when it comes up, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh wow.
What kind of heel am I? I thought. So I created another day for her birthday.
Good.
Yeah, and we went whole hog on it and so forth. But I thought, boy, I have like this character defect. I'm a slug. I should be in prison, And there was that kind of thinking that how could you forget your wife's birthday, for heaven's sakes?
Well, who knows? Life can have a lot of other stresses to it. Sometimes I don't think it's this case for you, Gary, but sometimes you're unconsciously mad at her and you kind of subconsciously, slipped my mind. That can happen to men as well.
Well, she wouldn't buy that purple jacket for me from Paul Frederick, so I was a little upset about that. But other than that, no. She told me the other day, I said, what do you think about this jacket? Beautiful lavender jacket. She goes, really? I said, no, okay, fine.
Well, but still you're talking, though, which is really important. I think the other thing you did that was so good, and I'm a firm believer in do-overs. If Valentine's Day or birthday or whatever doesn't go that well, or a holiday, do it over. Have another day. Who says it has to be on that day? The point is we're sharing our care about one another, appreciation, or maybe you're more available another day. You can do a better job another day. Negotiate that and just really have celebration be a part of your relationship. But then if you want some special times, it doesn't have to happen on the day.
Well, actually, for that, I made up by having every morning I'd wake up, I'd say, "Happy birthday, hon." It was for an entire week. So she finally got sick of it. And should women buy something for guys?
Well, why not? Why not buy something for guys? I mean, why should it just be one-sided? I think it's a great thing to buy something, or even what you said, make cards or send a thoughtful email or whatever that is. But why not buy something for your guy? Don't you like to be affirmed and know that somebody cares about you too?
I already am. For guys, to me, as a guy, I get a joy out of giving something to her.
Yep,
okay,
right,
and then the heat's off. I like doing it just because I like doing it. But on Valentine's Day, give something to her. We're sharing a trip together this year. I'm still going to give her something that's very nice. But yeah, I don't. For me, it's kind of like, I really don't need anything.
No, I don't even think it's for you necessarily. That could be. It's in it with my husband. He loves buying for me. He loves doing
exactly.
For me. He doesn't care so much about receiving, but I like giving to him. So in a way, I'm kind of doing it for myself.
Well, and if you do that, then I'm gracious. Okay. And by the way, I give you my address. You can send it to me. No. I'm kidding.
But Gary, that's important. Being gracious when you receive a gift, even if it's a little off the mark or whatever, I think is really important.
Yeah. Like what? Why'd you do this? I didn't. And you almost get annoyed. And you shouldn't. Final thing. What if you don't want to celebrate Valentine's Day and your significant other does? How do you, get into that topic?
Well, I think it's important that you get into it. So this is a great conflict. You can learn a lot about each other. Maybe you don't want to celebrate it because you think it's a commercial something and you like to show your love in other ways. Maybe for her it's symbolic of something that matters to her, or something that her family valued, or it's a way that she feels special. But that conversation can be one of the very best conversations you can have. What does it mean to you? What is it about? Where does it come from? You can learn so much about one another. That could actually be the closest part of your Valentine's Day, having that conversation.
That would be very, very cool. Well, listen, it has been so neat having you with us this morning. Where can people find you and read the book, Transform the Science of Spectacular Living?
They can go to judithwright.com, my website. It's Wright with a W, judithwright.com. And you can download 2 free chapters of Transformed when you do that. And one of the chapters is about these deeper yearnings that really are the heart of all of our intimacy and relationships. So I'd love all of you who are listening to do that.
Why don't we talk again sometime? You're pleasant to talk to, and you've got a lot of great information. Why don't we do it again soon?
I'd love that, Gary. That'd be great.
I'm going to put you on hold here. We want to get your email address because we're going to send you a copy of our interview with you this morning.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wright. Really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Take care and have a great day.
You too.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Dr. Judith Wright with us here on the Gary Sutton Show this morning. Very entertaining. We're going to put it on Facebook.com/910 WSBA.